Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. This is United Daily. We are here every single day at 12 p.m. UK time. Of course, we're live for you guys, and you can tune in at any time in the day. But we're bringing you the latest Manchester United news right in your lives on this lockdown world at the moment, aren't we? We're all locked down. There's no football. There's not much going on in terms of live sport. In fact, there's no live sport going on. There's not much for us to do, but we're trying to keep things going here on AdamMcKola TV, trying to keep some routine going, because if I fall out of a routine, I'm going to be all over the place. I am literally going to be all over the place. So I have to keep in some routine, and we've been keeping a good routine here on AdamMcKola TV with daily United Daily live videos, and of course from Monday to Sunday a different upload every single afternoon or evening as well. Like yesterday we had the Rumour which was live. This time around it's not always going to be live, but yesterday it was live with myself and Joel Smith. Today we've got the Master Debater with me and Straight Up Dean as well as having a regular weekly feature with Dean. On the Master Debater we'll get different guests on. On Fridays, we'll have Straight Up MUFC with me and Dean every single week. Thursday, Weekly United. Wednesday, like I said, Master Debaters. Tuesday, like I said, that was the Rumour. And on Monday, we have the Premier League Gazette. Saturday will be FIFA content. And Sunday is the Pod to Nowhere with me and Mr. Stephen Alson. So that's what we've got in line for you guys here on AdamMcKola TV. I can see some of my regulars in the comments. We've got Minnie, we've got Dara, we got Stoic, we got the United man. Then of course we've got Tariq, Simon Madden's back in the house as well. Jimmy Palmer's here in the house as well, talking about Greenwood. He accidentally called Ollie Holly, but I still knew what you were saying anyway. So good comment in regards to Mason Greenwood and how excited he is at the prospect of Mason Greenwood developing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So yeah, that is obviously something we're excited about, and we'll speak about your questions and your queries and stuff at the end of this. We'll get stuck into the news first things first, but before we do that, make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're joining as well if you can. And Oliver, like he says, liking the video as well. Respect, Oliver, I appreciate you, my brother. Anyway, let's get stuck into the rest of this news. And like we hear reports around Alexis Sanchez's future, almost every single day we hear a different report on Alexis Sanchez's. It started off, obviously, he's at Inter Milan on loan. We were hoping Inter Milan would take him. And then we heard, you know, with the situation, he's not played much football. He's been injured. He's not impressed that much when he has played. They're probably not going to spend a big fee on him, big wages. They're going to let him go back to Manchester United. We've heard Ole Gunnar Solskjaer say, yeah, he's going to come back to Manchester United and we're going to bring him into the mix again. Now, I think that is just him saving face and keeping positive about a situation that he knows he's going to want to get rid of this player. I think we have to get rid of this player, and I'll tell you why after we go through the story. Now, the reports at the moment are he will not take a pay cut at Manchester United. A few weeks ago, we heard there may be a bit of interest from South America, potentially Chile, Brazil, those kind of places. And United had put a fee on there of £17 million. Now, it's going to be difficult for anyone to give us a fee of around that much and pay the wages that he would probably be after. And now we're hearing he will not take a pay cut. Alexis Sanchez will not take a pay cut. So we're hearing reports. He won't take a pay cut, which will then make Manchester United getting rid of him a little bit difficult because of his big salary. No one's going to pay him the wages that we have paid him. We're still paying some of his wages for him to be on loan at Inter Milan. So his next move is going to be a difficult one for Manchester United. But I would implore United, I would tell United, get rid of him. We've got to get rid of him. There's no way Alexis Sanchez comes back and improves and shows us the player that, you know, was worth the contract that we gave him and was worth us taking that gamble on him. He's not going to become that player he was. Even if he offers us something off the bench or whatever, he's not worth it. And I tell you why he's not worth it. Being on that kind of wage and being at Manchester United in that dressing room when there's players that will be doing a lot more for the club than you, that won't be earning even half as much as you, will not be right for team morale and team spirit and all that stuff. And it's just not worth it. He's not going to turn around and do a Nemanja Matic and start looking good for a bit. He's not going to do that. We're not going to be offering him a new contract. That's not going to happen. We know that already. He's not going to be offered a new contract. why would we be offering him a new contract? So it's not like he's got something to fight for, like you could maybe say Nemanja Matic has got. He's literally got the contract. Now, what is he going to do? Does he want to rescue his career? You don't seem to get that kind of impression from him. Surely if he wanted to rescue his career, now I know it's a lot of money and it would be daft for any player to just give up that kind of money, and he's probably trying to fight for a payout from Manchester United. But surely if you were that bothered about your career and saving your career, you'd take half the money elsewhere, because you're still earning an awful lot of money. But it looks like United are going to have to pay him while he's leaving, or we're going to have to negotiate a deal with a club by where, you know, part of their transfer fees offset in us giving him a pavement, which will kind of notch up his wages a little bit in terms of the weekly payment, and we'll probably give him a few mil, which will cover the bit of wages that he would have lost at the club. We're probably going to end up in a deal like that with him, but it's worth it just to get him out of United, get him out of the Aon training complex, get him out of Carrington, get him out of Old Trafford. There's no need keeping him there. He's not going to offer us anything, and I would tell Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, get rid of him. We must get rid of him. I don't know what your guys' opinions are, but let us know in those comments below. Dara reminding us he's signed a 4-year deal. Glenn says, sorry to be a soldier so, but he's going to sit on his arse and fuck the whole team spirit. We've got to pay him what we owe him and get rid. Either that or we loan him away again and we're paying part of his wages. But even that is worth it just to get him out of there, I think. There's no reason to keep him. FC United Forever says, afternoon Adam, just finished watching an Ollie interview with Gaz and Jeff. Interesting, nothing on transfer hints despite Gaz asking him. The poker face is on. I'll send the thumbnail for that. I'm going to watch it a little bit later on. I will check that out. Mikey Smith's in the house. He's a member on the channel as well. We've got some new members on the channel, so let me bring the names up so I can give those guys the shout out. Let me just find that. We will keep going on as well because we've got some news in regards to Eric Bailly too, where Eric Bailly has come out and said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the man at Manchester United. He wants to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer staying, and he believes Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will improve Manchester United. But just on those members, I've got the page up right now, and we'll get some more of those Eric Bailly quotes. But the last few members, their names are as follows: Gavin Sweeney, Sam Drew, Ryan Duffy, Monday Best, Alvis Matthias, as well, joined AdamMcKola TV. So thank you to all of those guys for joining AdamMcKola. I really do appreciate every single one of you. We've got just under 20 members on the channel, having been open just over a week with the membership. So I really do appreciate all of you guys' support. And if you want to join, you can click that join button. If you can't join, hit that subscribe button. So let's go to some of these Eric Bailly quotes before we move on to some other news, and obviously talk more about Alexis Sanchez and read out some of your comments and questions as well. He says, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and this was done with Rob Dawson in the ESPN. Let's give people their credits when they get their work done. I wouldn't like if someone used quotes from Kiko Makeda interview and didn't credit me, so it's only right that we do this. And he says, Rob Dawson in ESPN, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the perfect manager for Manchester United's young team. Eric Bailly has told ESPN. Solskjaer eased the pressure on his job at Old Trafford with an 11-game unbeaten run before the pandemic led to the shutdown of football across Europe. The Norwegian has made a point of investing in young players as well as promoting academy graduates during his time as United boss, and Bailly has said the club's former striker has the right management style off the pitch to nurture an inexperienced squad. This is what Eric Bailly told ESPN. He's someone that will always talk to you. He always communicates well. He gives you so much confidence because as a footballer, you go through moments where you feel low, and he can read that. And when he sees that, he immediately comes over to you and talks to you. So obviously speaking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's man management skills and how good and on point he is with players and seeing when they maybe need an arm around their shoulder. He goes on and says he offers advice so that you can regain confidence, and for me that's so important because we have a very young team, and if we have a culture and manager like that, then the team will go from strength to strength. Then he's talking about his immediate future. When I'm asked about Manchester, as a joke, I always say the best thing is the weather, because we all know the weather isn't good. But what I really like is the atmosphere, the moments that I get to live out with the club. Here, people really live for football. Their passion for the game is enormous. So for me, being here, I realise that we need to always give our best. To just sign to play for Man United is a dream. To be a part of the team this big is the best thing. That's why I'm so proud to play for United, and that's why I give everything when I'm out on the pitch. I will literally give all my strength to the club, and that's the kind of thing that you want to hear from your players. Now, he has been out with injuries and for a little bit now, and which has been frustrating for Eric Bailly, because since he came to United, his first season, I thought he was pretty good. Eric Bailly was fantastic in his first season, and it was the Eric Bailly that we wanted to see develop and continue to see at Manchester United. And then we never quite got to see that. He was playing handfuls of games here and there and everywhere in the next 2 seasons, and even last season wasn't a good one for him. So he's had seasons wasted at the club where he could have been developing, he could have been playing, he could have been improving as a player, and he could have been improving for Manchester United. He didn't quite get that. Now, I think Eric Bailly is our strongest, or one of our strongest centre halves. I think he should be the partner for Harry Maguire going forward, but you can't say that unless he's playing. And he's saying if you've not been playing for a long time in a league as strong as this one, the truth is that it's hard. Imagine with an injury as long as mine too. The truth is I've been lucky with my teammates to have their help and support, and I had a phenomenal return. It was a difficult match against Chelsea, my first match back, and thank God that we won. It was great to have him back. I'm lucky to have my family and my dad. Of course. At the start it was difficult because I couldn't even go to the gym to work out. I basically had to stay in bed, but towards the end I got to come back here to Manchester. I got to go training again and the gym again and to the physio, and I finally felt like an actual footballer again. The fans are so important. They're the 12th man, you know. I want to say thank you because during my injury I got a lot of message support, and so thank you. Now in return I have to give my best so that they can enjoy the game as well. And I cannot wait for, yes, the beer supply was coming in, my brother just returning. Then I do apologise about that, but what can I do, eh? The delivery's coming through, you know, we gotta keep supplies up. But yeah, in regards to Eric Bailly, absolutely fantastic player. In my opinion, he should be and will possibly be the partner for Harry Maguire, but he needs to be fit to do that, and he needs to be playing to do that as well. Glenn says I think he's getting his tactics right more and more now as well. I love Eric Bailly. Lee's joined us late, as has Sam Drew as well. Thank you for joining us, whether you're late or not. We appreciate it, guys. I would get rid quicker than McKola did his hair, says Damian Brown about Alexis Sanchez, because we've obviously been talking about Alexis Sanchez's future at the club. Dara says Bailly's a loose cannon. If he can stay injury free for a season, then he could be a beast. Fully fit, says Dan. And then Jimmy goes on to say fully fit, definitely Maguire's best partner. Joel says I do believe we are building a good team. We just need to be patient and give Ollie time. The players love him because he loves the club and treats the players with respect. Interesting. I think so too, though. I think so too. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has also been in the press hitting back at the criticism of players, you know, with the talk about their wages and things like that, and them not doing enough. He says players do an awful lot, a lot more than many people will notice. They do a lot in the communities and things like that, and we should obviously give them a break, and I agree with that. I think footballers do a lot more than we know or see. Schmeichel, Peter Schmeichel, the cartwheeling bastard, said United should stick with Ollie. Another person coming out and saying United should stick with Ollie. And Manchester United have signed a young 16-year-old goalkeeper. Now, let me get his name up. I think his name was Vadik or Radic, but let me just get his name up. New goalkeeper. It's definitely not Lee Grant. His name's Radek Vitek, who's joined Manchester United. But he's a 16-year-old player, do you know what I mean? We can't really start talking about players that are signing at 16 years of age unless they're like the next Wayne Rooney or something. We haven't heard much on this lad. Some of you guys may have, I don't know. But he's joined Manchester United now. He's going to be battling it out with a lot of talented goalkeepers at Manchester United in the near future. So let's hope the next few years of his development can prove well. He came from Czech Republic side Sigma Olomouc to join Manchester United. He's set to join United as a scholar in July after his parent club announced the deal had been signed off by FIFA. United agreed terms to bring Vitek to the club in January, but had to wait for paperwork to be signed before formally completing the deal. He told the Czech club's website, "It's a surreal feeling A move to United is a dream. A lot of guys who start playing football. I'm really looking forward to it. I admit I didn't even believe it when I found out about the club's interest, but now it's definitely a reality. He's represented the Czech Republic at under 17 level and has been a regular for Sigma Olomouc's youth setup this season. So that's good to see, isn't it? United investing in youth players and bringing players in. I suppose I've probably missed a trick. I should have titled this video Manchester United confirmed signing. Would have got a few more clicks. How tall is he, Joe? Can you let us know? That article didn't say, and I've closed it now. Sanchez was a marketing buy, says 2 tiers. It was also a buy that was kind of like a power move to Manchester City, which backfired in our face a little bit, didn't it? I was watching that game back of when we beat City 3-2, and that was the time when he gave us his best performance. I think he played well against Arsenal as well in the Cup, and he may have had the odd other good performance, but that was his best performance for Man United. That was the best we got out of him. Mr. Architecture says get rid of Sanchez. It was pure class, pure Bailly, he says. Glenn talking about Bailly. Maguire can be the Rio and Bailly can be the Vidic for us, says Adam Sata. If they can go on to achieve anything close to what those guys did, then they will be fantastic players for Manchester United. Kovar, Henderson, De Gea, Romero, Bishop, and now this lad. So many keepers. Don't forget Joe Pereira. Eva, Dara, we've got Joe Pereira. Backfired big time talking about Alexis Sanchez. Oliver, I wouldn't have a clue because I haven't really seen it. Where is producer Chris? Says Leif. He's still out there making content, making music videos, doing those things. He worked with Full Time Devils and myself, and he had his own business going on as well. He was always a videographer making music videos and stuff for people like the Slow Readers Club and other bands and things like that. I remember when me and producer Chris was filming a documentary on Mobb Deep. For all my rap heads, you know Mobb Deep are absolutely legendary. And producer Chris invited me to go with him on this shoot with Mobb Deep. And I remember they were performing at Liverpool O2 Academy in Liverpool. And me and Chris went out there and we were backstage with Mobb Deep. We were walking around, and I remember the picture I took was awful lighting, so the picture's proper shit. I got a picture with me, Prodigy, and Havoc. Picture's awful, but I got some absolutely amazing videos of me just behind them while they're performing. Got It Twisted and Shook Ones and all the classics. Quiet Storm, some absolute bangers. So yeah. That's what producer Chris does. He films music and documentaries and things like that for his own company, Kraftwerk, as well as obviously helping. He did a lot with Full Time Devils, which he doesn't anymore. But yeah, that's one of the things producer Chris opened the door for me to do, was to see one of my favourite hip hop duos on stage live with these eyes, and it was just amazing. I weren't a Shook One at all. I was quite honoured and privileged to be on stage with them, and there was very few people on the stage as well. There was like 1 or 2 other people that were like DJs and things like that, so it was quite nuts. Surely Dean Henderson is the De Gea replacement, says Regatale. We are looking like he's going to be the replacement for him, isn't it? But who knows how that one develops in the near future. Anything can happen in football. Things can change very, very quickly, so we just got to be careful and not try and rush things with some of these younger players. That's why I'm keen to let him stay out there at Sheffield United, because if he stays out there and gets more experience, he'll only going to come back a better goalkeeper at United. Yes, you could rush him back now, and I suppose if we didn't have De Gea and Romero, you could bring him right back, but I don't think there's any point in bringing him back. I did say Havoc and Prodigy. Yeah, Prodigy was alive at that point. It was a fair few years ago now. Dan, I got a video on my phone somewhere, which is pretty sick. I'm not going to play the music on it because it'll probably get the video pulled. But I took a sick picture of Prodigy as well. when we was on stage. There he is. So this is where I was. Like right behind them. There they are. I was right behind them bad boys. It was so sick. And I do miss producer Chris, can you tell? Oh God. Alexis has been stealing a living back onto the football, says Kalili in the comments. What do we think about Alexis Sanchez? Should he be given another opportunity at Manchester United? Or should he be off ski? Let us know. Alexis Goal, says Pooja in the comments as well. Dara's talking about the time Statman Dave put Darren Fletcher in his all-time 11. Absolutely balls for brains. I know I'm making ridiculous leaps here, but if we get Sancho, I think we're in a shout for the title. If he hits the ground running like Bruno did, what did you think? I think we're getting a little bit closer to having that. I think we need a little bit more depth probably. And obviously, if you keep Pogba, so imagine you've got Pogba, you've got Bruno, you've got Matic, Fred, McTominay, you've got Sancho, Martial, Rashford. That there is title winning quality. If we get a few injuries, how are we going to be? So bring Igalo in. I think we should be bringing him in definitely on a permanent basis. You've then got Mason Greenwood in and around that mix as well, who can occupy, in the early stages of his career, like now, the wider positions, but also coming as an alternative number 9. And then in the defence, you got a very strong defence. I think it needs a little bit of tweaking. And before we can start saying we should be winning the league or we will be winning the league, we need a better central defensive midfielder, in my opinion. We need a better central defence. Minnie's just brought that up as well. Talking about Thomas Partey now. I'm not sure we're going to get Thomas Partey. The rumours are he's going to sign a new deal at Atletico Madrid, which will increase his potential release clause. And then, we wouldn't probably be in a position to sign him anytime soon. Is Sanchez follows his contract for the entire... Yeah, but the thing is, if you furlough your wages, the government are paying it. So I don't want to be paying for Sanchez's wages. I say the government, I mean the taxpayer. Greenwood is United's best striker. I don't think he's the best striker at the moment. I think he's the best finisher. I think he's definitely the best finisher. Left foot, right foot, he seems to always get it on target. He knows where the goal is. But I don't think he's the best all-round striker yet. I think he has the potential to be. Rasmus, appreciate the comment, man. Nice one. Alexis couldn't prove himself, so he must go, says Pooja. Do you think we should get Smalling back, says Kalili. He's been linked with a move to Arsenal more recently. They've been linked with Smalling and Lingard. Do I think we should bring Chris Smalling back to Manchester United? No, I don't. Do I think he's a bad player? I don't think he's a bad player. Do I think he's good enough for United? No. Do I think he's found a club where he's settled? Yeah, and he should probably stay there, in my opinion. Look, at United, the issues were clear. He had his good games. He had his very good games. Normally in some of the bigger games he'd play well. But he was prone to errors and he couldn't really play out from the back. We look at the way United want to play at the moment. And we want to play out from the back. And whatever flaws Lindelof and Maguire have, they play out from the back better than Chris Smalling do. So does Eric Bailly. Now if you think of that game against Manchester City where we were forced to play Phil Jones and we just couldn't pass the ball out from the back, we couldn't pass wind. And now imagine that was Chris Smalling, it'd be exactly the same. I just don't think he'd be suited to what we're trying to do. I don't think he's suited to the pace of the Premier League. If we can sell him, sell him. And I think we will be able to sell him. So why not take this opportunity to do that? There's no need bringing him back in. I think we're quick to think, oh yeah, well, he's done well in Italy, so he's the man. No, I can't remember some knobhead. I was Durham on the radio. Was like, oh yeah, United have missed a trick here. We should be bringing him back. No. Did you watch him for United? Have you watched him for Roma? Like, Italy's a lot slower. Look at the top goal scorers. I know they've got the likes of Ronaldo and Lukaku who aren't slow, but look at even like Ciro Immobile and them, man. This top goal, like the game's not the same as the Premier League. And I think if you brought him back into the Premier League, those flaws would be exposed again. I also think Roma's setup kind of allows him to get the best out of himself. If I was him, I'd stay at Roma. I wouldn't bring him back to Manchester United. And if I was him, I wouldn't come back to the Premier League. Dara says Smalling was awful for long enough and should be left in Rome. Tonali could be an excellent CDM for us, as Mini. And Sam mentions that he may be going to Juventus by the sounds of it. Although he would be an amazing signing. Sumari is about that physical engine life. Is that the lad from Lille? I would say keep Rojo and Sal both, Smalling and Jones. I wouldn't be surprised if all of them go, Leif. I really wouldn't be surprised if that was the case and all of them were sold. Yes, Cajarino, how you doing, mate? I disagree with you on the Chris Smalling thing. He was good for United. He's just not good at playing out from the back. He had his good games. Like I said, I think he was exceptional in some bigger games. And you remember him and Blind had a good partnership. But not for me. Chris Smalling, not for me. Not back at Manchester United. Two Tiers says we need a CDM this window for sure. I just don't think we're going to sign one. We're going to be giving the Man Utd a new contract. We're probably going to spend in a large chunk of our transfer budget on Jadon Sancho. Let's say Jadon Sancho did come, Igalo came. I don't see where we spend 50 million on a CDM. I think we're going to probably go with Matic, Fred, McTominay for the foreseeable future. Maybe invest in that position next summer. The right wing position is one that needs to be invested in. The striker position is one that needs to be invested in. And I think we'll probably make Igalo's deal permanent. I wouldn't be surprised to see us only sign Sancho and Igalo in the summer. I genuinely wouldn't. And maybe a squad player here or there, which is a bad thing. But I do think this Nemanja Matic thing has probably lured us into a false sense of security with him. We're giving him a new deal. We're keeping him at United. And maybe that's not the way to go about things. Because in the long term, is that the right decision? I don't know. But then we do need to keep some of the experience in the team. But you're not going to get rid of Fred and McTominay. So kind of one of them has to make way for someone to come in. Unless Pogba leaves, and then you just get a CDM. Which again could be a possibility, but I don't see that happening either. I think if Pogba leaves, we'll sign Grealish. I haven't seen the interview with Gary Neville and Ollie yet. I'll check that out very, very soon. What about Koulibaly? I don't think we'll be signing Koulibaly, as good as he is. Rojo is not at United anymore, says Shay. Yeah, but he's on loan, so he's like Smalling, where he'll be coming back, and then we'll have to find a permanent deal for him. He hasn't left permanently, right? Really enjoyed your Makeda interview. Well done, Flo. Perfect. Great watch. Thank you very much, Cajarino. I appreciate that comment. And remember, if you haven't seen it yet, you can go and check out the interview we did with Federico Makeda. I recorded it last Friday. We released it on Sunday, which was the 11th anniversary of that goal against Aston Villa, which put Manchester United back top of the table in 2009 ahead of Liverpool and pushed us on to the league title. And we had a chat about life before United, during, at United, after United. And it was a real interesting chat. One of the best lines I think Kiko dropped in it, and there was a fair few, like one about nearly phoning Ollie and things like that, but one of the best lines he dropped was football doesn't look you in the eyes. And I think that was a real deep line. If you want to watch it though, go check it out. It's a good interview. I really enjoyed speaking with Makeda. It was a good chat. Adam should get number 9 for Paddock FC so we can say he's AM9, says Oliver Edwards. I prefer the number is 7, but I don't mind doing that. We can get that arranged. Hi Adam, I'm Ebenezer, a die-hard Man United fan from Ghana. I want to know why the management is overly concentrated in signing goalkeepers into the youth, other than those to address our needs, says Ebenezer. Well, it could be a case, mate, that United are planning for a few of their other goalkeepers to maybe go out on loan. So what they do to preempt that is get a signing signed up for July. You've got to remember he's 16 years old. He's not being signed for the first team or even for the under 23s. He's been signed for much much below that. And you're probably going to see under 18s promoted to under 23s. So when that happens, then you need to fill the gap down there. And that's what this lad will be doing. Obviously, if he's exceptional, he'll be elevated through the ranks at a quicker speed. But don't be concerned about, oh, we've got loads of goalkeepers. It's a usual thing at youth level to keep replenishing those players and those stars, and there's those academy talents coming through and making sure there's more to take the position of those being promoted through the ranks. Also, it may just be a case United have watched him and thought, this guy's very good, we can't miss out on him. You also can't excuse that being a possibility as well. But we just have to ignore this one, and it will pop back up in a few years' time, and the player will either be leaving and going on to elsewhere, or he'll be breaking into the first team, and we'll be like, remember when we signed him a few years ago? I don't think it's anything for us to be concerned with right now. Guys, we usually finish the show at this point, but if you've got any questions, bring them in right now, and we'll get them answered. We've discussed today how I think Alexis Sanchez must be sold by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after it was reported that he will not be taking a pay cut, which will make it difficult for United to get rid of him. But whether we get rid of him on loan, sell him and pay part of his wages, I don't know. We need to get rid of him away from Manchester United. Ole has hit back over criticism of the players and for what they do in terms of charitable work and things like that. Schmeichel and Eric Bailly, so Peter Schmeichel, United legend, and Eric Bailly, both coming out saying United should stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his man for the future. And United have confirmed the signing of the 16-year-old shot stopper. Let us know your thoughts on all those things. Thank you very much, Ebenezer. Nice one for your comments. Thank you all you guys for getting involved in the comments section as well. Make sure you're keeping it locked to AdamMcKola TV, liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing. 50 million for Dembele or 15 million for Igalo. Which would you prefer? Says Ross. I would go for Igalo. I would like to see us giving Igalo a permanent deal, definitely. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in on AdamMcKola TV. Make sure you're keeping it locked. We've got a video coming up later on tonight, which is Master Debaters with me and Dean. So make sure you're keeping it locked for that. But for now, I have been AdamMcKola. You lot have been absolute legends. This has been United Daily. We're out of here.